Okay, first of all, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on when you got up, and I think it's afternoon here in New York, right? My cities run together, my time runs together. I don't even know. All I know is it's a beautiful day the Creator has brought, and I'm very happy to see such beautiful faces. Assalamu alaikum, and also hello. I was getting fascinated by the brother who had on the kippah and the Moorish scientist. My father was a Moorish scientist. My father's from Jamaica, and I spent a lot of my early life in Jamaica seeing things that people said couldn't happen because my mother was a conjure woman, if you know what that means. So I was exposed at the very early days to the mystic side. One of the things that I understood outside of the Masonic leagues, and if there are Masons here, please don't get offended. I have taught Masons, okay? The Moorish temple scientists probably come closer to truth than anyone that I know. The truth has been so scattered throughout the quote-unquote diaspora till to get segments and get returned to what seems truth now sounds like a fairy tale. I definitely want to talk with that brother again, and I almost wanted to say, hey, don't call me up yet. I want to hear some more. I don't do that often. So as far as I'm concerned, in my limited fashion, the brother had a lot of truths, and I find again that the populace of New York has been very blessed. It's just that many of them have not taken advantage of their blessings. You have a lot of brain power here. As I always start to do when getting into my presentations, I don't like to call them lectures. Lectures can be boring. I hope none of my presentations are ever boring. If they are, then I need to stop coming here. I try to give a little background as to where I get information from or how I reach certain conclusions before I bombard you with facts and entertain you with the humor that it goes along with my personality. I still find, I think education should be not so serious, especially if it's enjoyable, and I try to make it do both. So those of you who take notes and are bookworms and are researchers and so on and so forth, not all of this information comes from these books. Some come from pamphlets, some come from other sources, but in the main, again, these are books that will probably bring you the information you're going to hear until it gets to the very heavy psychic part. One is called The Redundant Male. The Redundant Male by Drs. Jeremy Cherfas and Dr. John Gribben and Cherfas. Another book is The Physiological Enigma of Woman. The Physiological Enigma of Woman by Professor Hilton Hotima. Professor Hilton Hotima. Another is The Great Red Dragon. The Great Red Dragon, again by Professor Hilton Hotima. The Sky People. The Sky People. Brinsley Lapoere Trench. Brinsley Lapoere Trench. The Star People. The Star People. One was sky, the next is star. By Brad and Francis Steiger. Brad and Francis Steiger. Man the Unknown. Man the Unknown by Alexis Carroll. Alexis Carroll. Let me also say that at the beginning, many females could save themselves a lot of physical problems by continuing what they did when they were very young girls, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, standing on your head either once a day or twice a day for at least 3.5 to 5 minutes. I start that at the very beginning. I give you your $5 worth at this time. If you want to make extra donations later, great. You can leave and go home if you just understand the importance of what I just told every female in here. Stand on your head once a day. If you can't do it now, have somebody hold your feet up. Invert your position of your body for at least 3.5 minutes. If you get dizzy as soon as you start it for the first 30 days or 30 seconds, and then keep on trying it if you don't do it but 5 seconds. If you could invert your body for 3.5 minutes a day, which gets away from this tremendous gravitational pull on this planet and all of the iron and poison that are in the earth, and give you a chance to reverse those cell structures and let the blood, just like the river Nile, run backwards, you'd save yourselves a lot of problems. Now, that's the end of the lecture. It was good talking. Also, again, I have a large group. It's not really so large. We have about 18 active people and about 7 very active people in the Meta Center. And then we have close to 200 members. I wish that I see them usually once a year during the so-called holiday celebrations. One of the ways that we raise money is selling the booklet of prophecies. Most of you have bought it. If you haven't, please buy it from me before I leave. It's $3.50. The booklet of prophecies. It lists the 34 prophecies for the United States. It's cross-referenced between Nostradamus, Edgar Casey, Mother Shipton, who was a black woman, lived in Louisiana. She doesn't get the publicity she should have. She was an excellent psychic and prophet. Paracelsus, and a couple other people, and then the Holy Bible. I do that because most of us are more familiar probably with that book than any others, although I do understand the sophistication of my audience here, so I'm simply not denigrating, I'm simply sharing. Wherever we found those things listing a thing that seemingly was the prophecy once or twice, we listed it. We came down with all the things we could have said to 34 prophecies, 4 of which are my psychic ability in effect, and I hope that they are good and standard as the rest of them are. I don't tell you which 4 because then you say, well, those 4, Brother Blair, I'm not going to think about. I'll just go by the old masters. Also, we have a special earthquake insert which shows the 20 most earthquake-prone cities and why, the last time they had one, and so on and so forth. And around New York, around Buffalo, it's listed. Also understand the prophecies said for these islands here. And understand that from 96 on, this will probably happen. You start getting in this year, 94, an idea of what's going to happen because everything that can happen will happen one time at least in 94. That means we're in for one heck of 1 year. It was clear people understand what we're coming up against, trying for one more time to let those pompous, egotistical maniacs become at least human and show some signs of spirituality. The books have already said they will not. If they do not, then it starts. Right now, these are warning timblors. They're really not even trimmers yet. They're trimblors. You haven't seen what nature can do when nature finally loses her cool. Today, I heard your president speak and say what was going to happen tomorrow if Bosnia-Herzegovina and Serbs don't do right. Well, this has already been pre-planned. Already, the undertakings are not for the purpose you see. And you'll find it out when you see those kind of troops in your streets in 1996 and 97, in the streets of the United States. They will not use the troops from here. They'll use foreign troops. The foreign troops will show you no mercy. Most of them can't even speak the English language. There are a lot of prophecies, and you're in the time for the fulfillment of those prophecies. I say, as the days seem to run by and quicken, you'll see time is speeding up. Some of you already have noticed that. It is not a joke. Time, as we understand it, is speeding up. You are going to be quickened. You wouldn't be sitting here today when you could be doing other things. You wouldn't have been here last night when you could be doing other things, unless there's a quickening spirit within you that needs food, the real manna from heaven, spiritual food. So, as always, and I'm not joking with you, I'm very, very happy to be here. I wouldn't do anything else if I could, and I'd be very sorry if the Creator did not grant me at least a subsistence and hopefully a good life in speaking to people and sharing the little information that I have. And by your presence here, you make my life worthwhile, and therefore I give as openly and as much as I can. Sometimes I get carried away. Stop me. Usually on the question and answer, it all gets carried out. Today, I want to share with you what was advertised